Welcome back to the LCS, where Team Liquid is about to take on the Golden Guardians. Mark's excited for this one, but I tell you why, you all should be. Because if Team Liquid does win this game, it means that Golden Guardians are mathematically eliminated from the postseason. So the stakes in this game could not be higher, Mark,
That's
for
why
Golden Guardians.
That's why I'm excited. It's a death match. You know, this is Golden Guardians. Lock them in. They got to keep ripping off wins to stay alive right now. You know, there's blood in the water. And so I'm excited to see, you know, if they can actually keep their dreams alive.
All right, so we've got statistically the best top player in the league, Alfari versus Niles right now. I fear for my man Niles, and he has so much to prove right now. In this game, if Niles can prove that he can stand up to Alfari, then my God, the tier lists are just going to be all over the place in the future. I can't wait to see what he does because, honestly, there's a lot of pressure on Golden Guardians right now. Like you said, if they lose, then they're just out. So every single one of them have to be on the top of their game right now.
Yeah, a lot of pressure for the Golden Guardians. Now, similarly, it's different pressure, but a lot of pressure, I do believe, for Team Liquid as well, Emily, considering the fact that this is a game they should be well expected to win, on top of preseason expectations, which they have not necessarily lived up to just yet.
Yeah, and so when we're talking about Golden Guardians, I think it's actually been really fun to track their progress throughout the split, right? Because every game we see them do something a little differently, learn something, and actually take that into their next game, which has been really cool. With TL, it's like these really specific kind of pain points that are at like another level of play, right? So like it's I know like I highlighted in the lock-in tournament, the thing that impressed me the most was actually their ability to make cross-map plays off of getting bot side priority from either bot side 2v2s or dragon control, and then push forward from the on the map from there. And like I said, they've kind of struggled to do that with top side prio, so they've moved back down to bot side priority. I really want to see how TL are going to shore up some of these minute things that are standing in the way of them being that kind of number one team. And like to be fair, I put them number one at the beginning of the split. They might still be, but the fact that they're having some obvious pain points in solving some of these issues is slightly concerning, and it does put pressure on them only because of the lofty expectations we had for this team.
And you would very much expect them to fulfill, rather, those expectations in this very matchup. But returning to your point about the growth that Golden Guardians has shown to us throughout the year, here's a quick reference to game back in Week 4 against Evil Geniuses. 28 minutes. What went wrong?
I mean, at least
remember.
this says that they can get ahead.
I'm going to guess a Baron.
They can get early game leads. It's just the difference between the teams is how you can use these leads. And while that's very obvious, we all know that Golden Guardians has a lot of problems. It's if they can keep replicating the early game gold lead, eventually they will be able to understand how to take it through the mid game and drive it all the way to a win. It's just, can they do it? What do you think?
Yeah, I think they've also had some interesting drafts. Like they had, like, I believe it was them who had the Protect the Stixxay hyper carry comp, if I'm not mistaken. And while it didn't work out, and you can criticize some of the play stuff, I do like that this team is not just like meta followers. You know, I think it's very easy. We've talked about it a number of times to just kind of always be playing catch up if you're not in the top of the standings. But the fact that they are going for their own idea of how they want to approach the game, and they've been doing that since lock-in. Like it was a lot more topside focused then when they had Niles on like the Quins and these different things. And like you want to see that experimentation out of a team, you know, that is a developmental roster, that they're not just sitting back and saying like, okay, well, let's pick the standard meta and just work on how to control dragons. Like there is multiple phases of the game that they're all working on at the same time.
And I think with a lot of these compositions too, the cool thing about them, since they've kind of focused to more bot side carries and putting a Blaze of Olive on the Tristana, which Tristana is like insane pick right now. These are easy to execute comps, right? Like these are things that are going to run you down. The Jinx, the Sivir, the Tristana in the mid lane. Like I really like that as well because it takes a lot of pressure off of, you know, how are we going to leverage split pressure and then just, well, we're going to try to set up for objectives and run at you. It's a lot easier to execute. And so I've liked that evolution of their drafts as well.
All right, so this might be unpopular for maybe how Golden Guardians win this next game, if they can win, is I would actually really like to see a Niles counter pick against Alfari, something crazy like the Quinn before. I actually want to see it again because whether it'll work or not, I'm so curious to see as how Alfari will deal with it on potentially a weak side and how Niles will do under that pressure of getting this kind of insane counter pick off meta pick. Maybe, you know, something not so off meta like Jace or GP like we've seen before. So I would really like to see that coming from Golden Guardians.
You've got my brain juices flowing, and I think I have a happy compromise for us, Alorum. We're going to get that Karma in the top lane, the flex pick you were asking for. And Mark, back to your point around Stixxay. Stixxay, one of his best performing champions, at least anecdotally in my experience, is Kalista. Kalista popped off today when Dignitas picked it up. So maybe we get some kind of protect the carry Kalista comp with a Karma in the top lane.
I thought you were trolling me and you were going to say Vayne. After
no.
That's actually where I thought this was leading into. Like, you know, we're going to put Stixxay on. We're going to put him on Vayne.
Oh, that was a total missed opportunity, and now I regret everything, Mark. Thank you very much. We'll see what we get in Champion Select in just moments from now. It does look like our teams are ready to meet on the Rift, so let's hand it over to Pastry Time and Crumbs for the call.
Thank you very much, Des. My name is Pastry. Joining me once again is Alberto, Crumbs, Rengifo. Golden Guardians versus Team Liquid. As we heard from the desk, Crumbs, it is do or die from here on out on the Golden Guardian side, which, to be fair, probably not what they're thinking about here.
Yeah, they're all about the improvement. I don't think they're even thinking about playoffs. They just want to get better every single time. So the Niles versus Alfari matchup, yeah, it's really interesting to see Niles' improvement because we already have seen a Blaze Olive in the mid lane with the Tristana have one pretty lackluster game, and then another one where he was way better, took the lessons from that first one and applied it to the second. So we want to see all the players from Golden Guardians approach their improvement this way, where you can clearly see the mistake in one game, then it's corrected in the second. Not so much about playoffs for this squad.
Right. I mean, it's definitely a thing in stages with this kind of development team, right? I think we have seen more confidence now out of a Blaze Olive, who does have a pretty hefty amount of experience in Academy, and I think is now playing a little bit more like we expected him to when he got more comfortable in Academy and now moving up to the LCS. For Niles and Iconic, I think they're still kind of figuring stuff out, and Niles is definitely the kind of player that, with confidence in himself, can take over a game, and certainly has in, lower levels of play. And even though that's not necessarily translating yet onto the LCS stage, again, this is a time thing. So I kind of agree with Alorum, to be honest. Like, I just want to see Niles counterpick Alfari again and see what he can get done in the 1v1. We'll see what happens in the draft, of course, because we're almost 6 bans through. Seraphine, Syndra, and GP on the Liquid side, and Hecarim plus Udyr for Golden Guardians.
And jungle focus bans on the side of Golden Guardians, which we all agree that Blabber is the best jungler in the league. But then you ask, well, who does Blabber think is right underneath him? He cites Santorin as the second best jungler in the league. So you got to take it from him. The bans reflect that as well. And honestly, pinching against Santorin has never really worked throughout the entire history of Santorin. He has a really wide champion pool, so you're gonna just get Lilia. This is an S-tier pick. You ban 3, he still gets an amazing one. Doesn't really feel like you're pinching a lot for Santorin because now the rest of the squad can be built around one of the best junglers right now.
Yeah, curious to see how Golden Guardians want to respond here, though, because something like Renekton, which we've seen lots of top laners play, is potentially left open. We'll let the clock run down a little bit here. Golden Guardians, as we said, definitely moving week for week. That's not what we expected, though, as Kane is going to be locked in by Iconic for the first time this season. For him, not for the LCS, weirdly.
That's a curveball. That's a curveball already. It's most likely going to be the blue Kayn, obviously very useful and good against the Lilia, being able to move around the walls. You can actually avoid her incredible movement speed, but without seeing the entirety of the composition, this is really bold. Yes, you have a decent matchup against the Lilia, but the rest of the team needs to line up, and that's going to be another Tristana pick. This is most likely going to be for a Blaze Olive. We've seen it in the bottom lane before, but he has 2 games of it already. We know Stixxay can play it, but it's really powerful in the mid lane. It'll just be a rock there for him, and it'll allow the Kayn to be very aggressive, fighting for those Raptor counts, which is going to be a bit of a mini game between the junglers.
All right, well, it looks like we're going to have blood in some of these lanes because Renekton and Lucian are Team Liquid's next 2 picks. A lot of AD already for both sides, but unfortunately for Golden Guardians, they don't have a Lilia, and they don't really have space for her either, even for something like in Italy, of course. So it might just be AD all the way here as the Blaze Olive's going to hover Yone. I also kind of joked about it with you off air as well. Is going to get locked in there for Golden Guardians. Could pair well with the Triss, could of course pair well with whatever Stixxay wants to play. But I did kind of expect Alfari to take Renekton if it was open. We have seen Niles counterpick pretty aggressively, something like Quinn he's already played actually in the lock-in, if my memory serves. But he's actually known for his Kled, and that is also another matchup you can take into Renekton if you feel like being very aggressive with your counterpicks. So we'll see if he's still on tank duty. We'll see if he wants to get a little bit more aggro. I feel like with the draft Golden Guardians are already presenting, they're telling us that they want to play a little bit faster this game than maybe they have in some of their others. There's more Garner's going to get banned away from core JJ.
Yet that fast speed is really around the mid lane and the jungle. I think Niles will probably just have to go with a very safe top laner. Again, you're already banning out a safe pick in the Gnar. I think Gragas is probably where I'm looking for him. He's had it before, and the Gangplank as well. So just good matchups into Renekton that can survive, that can actually impact the team later despite falling behind. Because when I looked at this game on paper, I thought, well, you got the #1 top laner here against one of the bottom ones. It's not like Niles isn't aware of this. He has a lot to learn, very aware of what he needs to do to get up to the level of some of these amazing top laners. But boy, he has been getting camped a lot. There's a lot of gold coming out into the pockets of the enemy teams from the Golden Guardians top lane. So Renekton with a mage is a great way to combo and kill top laners relentlessly.
All right, well, gonna lose Gnar and Gragas and GP throughout the bans here, so no real like safe blind pick top laner I feel like available, which feels terrifying against Renekton, especially against a player the caliber of Alfari. I did say it was a potential pick here. It's something he's definitely known for, and it is going to be Kled locked in for Niles.
You nailed it. You're calling it. You're saying how his Kled was so good. He's known for it. We saw it from Finn, and maybe Finn's Kled pick last week actually motivated him to take this champion because it is a very difficult champion to dive. It's one of his greatest strengths. When the Renekton combos were so prevalent, people were trying to find, how do you avoid it? Well, first it was like Shen with the dodging with the Twilight Shroud, then it was Akali going stealth, and then Kled ultimately just has 2 lives. So it's way harder to kill than a lot of the more common top laners right now.
Yeah, I actually don't know what Niles was thinking, but when I saw Finn's Kled, I remembered that Niles was a Kled player and that it was a possible pick into Renekton. So thanks to Finn actually for the heads up there, as Zyra Khan going to get locked in there for Team Liquid. Like I already said though, like a ton of AD here for Golden Guardians, so it is going to have to be a control mage there for a Blaze Olive in the mid lane. He will take Victor into his matchup against Lucian.
And that puts the Tristana into the bottom lane. That's a really aggressive bottom lane from Golden Guardians. The Rel, Tristana can both engage, start the party. You can combo the Rel stun together. We've seen that before. And the Team Liquid bottom lane has struggled a little bit as of late. It hasn't been as dominant as we saw in the lock-in tournament. It's nothing to worry about, but it is an area where Golden Guardians could potentially strike. We know how dangerous Rel can be in the early game.
Yeah, I think Stixxay in particular as an individual has been pretty good, and I think Newbie, as he's adjusted to his teammates here, to his team, has also played better and better, especially more aggressive champions. I think his enchanters we weren't as impressed on, his Janna most notably springing to mind, but his Alistar's been looking pretty good. I'm sure his Rel is up there as well, and I do like that Golden Guardians maybe just accepting their position in this game and saying, you know what, playoff chances are pretty slim. We are going to have to win all our games here to even have a shot, and probably again not really considering that here, trying to improve little by little. If you're playing up against someone as good and as solid as Team Liquid, maybe just like test some of those things in landing phase, get aggressive, play the style that I thought Golden Guardians were going to play when they first showed us this team in lock-in. Where they just, have these young players who are very talented, who have a lot to learn. Just kind of play into the lanes and get aggressive and learn to snowball your advantages from there. It is nice that they've shown a bit more scaling and some actually surprisingly good macro. That game versus IMT comes to mind with that super late game Twisted Fate maneuvering, but again, like you have so much to learn, like take it one thing at a time. I guess what they're trying to learn this game is how much can we try and take on the best top laner in the league? Because Niles is certainly throwing the gauntlet down here in top lane. Doran's Blade, Conqueror, ready to go up against the Doran Shield of Renekton. Alfari knows what's up already in the 1v1.
Okay, I want to see it. We asked for the top lane matchup in the AD. We're going to get it. But now I'm really curious to see exactly where Golden Guardians actually takes the Kayn. Because more than anything, it is very rare that you see a team just say, all right, let's just take the Kayn right away in our first rotation. And I got to see what Iconic can deliver on this champion, because yeah, you can power farm as we have seen him do in the past, but what about the team fights? What about his ability to actually go against these 3-range, actually 4-range champions? So the Kayn can actually be a very dangerous pick here because there isn't any crowd control that can really catch him off the wall. So if Iconic gets a power farm, keep the game even, this is a pick that can just snowball the game and carry, hard carry from the jungle. So if Iconic wants to stick to that style and the rest of the team can hold their own in their lanes, this Kayn could be the win for Golden Guardians.
Yeah, BlazEolive probably going to have to fight a lot of early pressure, but LCS Lucian versus Victor is a internationally renowned matchup. And BlazEolive has been looking pretty good on a variety of champions. I think favoring a bit more aggression, but certainly extremely capable on control mages. That's what a lot of his academy career was kind of built on here. So up against Jensen, who's going to be looking to play up and aggressive nice and early. We'll see kind of how things work out here. As right now, it's been pretty chill. Top lane, though, is the opposite of chill because this is what you want to do as Kled. Immediately getting the grab there with the E and already getting some damage down there as well.
And that aggression from Niles could actually be capitalized on by Iconic. The classic Kayn route, right? You do Raptors, you can do the red buff, or you can do Krugs. He's doing Krugs now to speed up his second clear, but that really allows you to then hit 3 and to maybe path to the top side. So if Alfari gets really low in these trades, adjustment to the pathing from Iconic can catch him off guard, and we could see that snowball from the top lane. But otherwise, I think we're just going to have a really nice and farming game, because if you look at the mini-map, look at what Centaurin's already done. He's invaded the Kayn. He's already gone to the blue side.
KoJJ getting eaten by the early damage from Trist. Again, Nubi and Stixxay getting aggressive. They're on the wave, hitting level 2 first. Niles are going to get dashed back on by Alfari, so going to have to be a bit more careful. As you mentioned, though, there is a Lilia in the enemy jungle right now on the Golden Guardian side, and I don't think Iconic's going to have to do anything other than watch.
That really hurts. Centaurin just already won the early game for Team Liquid, because Kayn is now stuck in the bot side. He doesn't have any camps to clear. He can't go invade the Raptors. The only thing is the Krugs. Just some nice trading here in the top side, but Lilia is, I think, the star of this early game on the minimap. She now has the complete blue side to clear, and once she does that, she can go for the crab, maybe gank top, and then go to take Iconic's red side once it spawns again. So great pathing from Centaurin, already seeing why we think he's one of the best junglers in the league.
Yeah, unfortunately, like, all this lane actions meant that we couldn't actually follow that, but great work on Crumbs there, spotting through the minimap what was going on. Alfari isn't a spot of bother, though, as the wave is going to crash in, but no dive incoming. That's, again, Centaurin knowing basically where the enemy jungler is. He's already on top side to cover in case that was happening, and Niles isn't going to dive without knowing where Centaurin is, so he's just going to take the wave advantage that he built up and then walk back to lane by the looks of things. But again, demonstrating his understanding of both his champion and this matchup as well. Dismounting, but knowing that he had more than enough threat there to be safe, as channel here for Stixxay is going to be cancelled. Tactical throwing a couple feathers into the brush. Ooh. Centaurin, think he nicked it. Stealing away them Raptors from Iconic. He's just going to have to walk back very sadly towards his empty red side jungle.
And now they know exactly where Kayn is, so continuously tracking the jungle. They have never not known where Iconic was, so the lanes can do whatever they want, especially this bottom lane can be this aggressive. Already shoving the Tristana out, will get the recall, and this is just a masterclass already in pathing. I want to see how he continues to do this, though, because this tempo advantage should translate to something for potentially KoJJ grouping up with Centaurin and contesting more camps. I think KoJJ is fine, though. He's not aggroed onto the Rel, so he'll just reset. And look at that, the timing in which KoJJ and Centaurin base. They base together. This is a really big deal. Being able to leave the map and enter together allows you to make more coordinated plays in the future.
Yeah, nice wall there from Golden Guardians. Niles this time getting the info of where Centaurin was. That means Iconic can take his Krugs and safely base. It means Niles isn't getting dove on this massive wave that Alfari has pushed in. And Niles, if he farms this up, should be back to even as far as the CS goes. So much more respect being paid here to the possible presence and then known presence of Centaurin. And of note, Niles didn't have to TP last time as Jensen. No Victor ulti just yet, but does get stunned in the gravity well. Still some good damage down there from the Lucian, as Jensen did win the end of that trade, but Corrupting Potion charges are going to be exchanged, and a BlazEolive with the wave pushing towards Jensen Tower should be just fine here.
There was a really nice ward over the river there where KoJJ was spotted. It actually was what kept a BlazEolive safe. Stixxay will be fine here, but I wanted to draw the attention to the itemization from the junglers because this is a really big trend that's coming up. It's just the rushing, the cooldown reduction boots. When everything is about power clearing, get the most movement speed to go from camp to camp and the ability to clear them much faster. So I think this is something that we'll see more junglers do, and it does favor those less bruiser junglers that don't need those Mercury Treads or Ninja Tabis, where you can just kite, keep your distance, and ensure that you can get the maximum value from your jungle camps.
Niles again landing bear traps. Now they both have 6 though, but Alfari probably feeling a bit better in the 1v1 as a result. Alfari going to pop Dominus. Niles looking to get away. Does get dismounted, but backs himself towards the blast cone with Iconic, and is going to be just fine here as he pops the pistol out for a bit of extra movement speed or movement block. And now Jensen going to go ahead and ult the wave. Blaze Olive going to go ahead and ult Jensen. As kind of like Mages fighting in mid, they'll just trade ultis as they look to shove the waves back out. It looks kind of dramatic, but mostly it's fighting for control of the waves here, as there's nothing else to really do in mid. On the bottom side, though, Tactical and Core JJ back to their old ways, it feels like. 6A been pretty consistently pressured here in this lane. A plate looks like it has gone over already to the Team Liquid duo, and Tactical's up about 10 CS, which is nice, just from landing alone.
Yeah, and it's laning knowing where the jungler is, knowing that there's no chance of anybody teleporting behind you, knowing that you're not getting ganked. And here Alfari should know that Iconic is here, but he doesn't have his ultimate. Oh boy, Alfari's in trouble.
Gets himself bear trap. No, the Kled always follows you, Alfari. They're going to dash out of the way, but still the follow is there. Can dive with the Kled, of course, with the dismount, but bear trap is going to miss, and Alfari's going to get away, but did have to burn the flash there.
Okay, so he's able to survive, and the rest of the team gets something for it. So not a lot wasted there for him, because then you see the minion wave was him trying to crash it, and that's what put him in a position to get ganked. But now Niles just has to hold this, and burning so many summoners there for the top side without getting anything for it doesn't feel like a win for Golden Guardians when they're still bleeding on the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, Santorin here going to grab that Drake nice and easy. Lilia passive trickles in to deliver that first dragon over to Team Liquid. Definitely a top move that is going to have to pay dividends later for Iconic and Niles, while Alfari's flash is on cooldown. But not sure, again, using all their own summoners, it's going to be all that easy to gank Renekton once again. I don't think Alfari is going to put himself in the same position for a while. Niles, though, still working on it 1v1. It has to respect possibly Santorin being there, but mostly that, again, Renekton is still not a joke 1v1, even when you get a counter pick.
And now he's holding the wave, which is going to be dangerous for Niles, because now he's going to be in the position where Alfari was, where he got ganked, but now he doesn't have the same summoners, and Lilia will be basing and pathing to the top side of the map. There's the Rift Herald as well, so we'll see if teams want to make a swap towards that. But so far, it looks like, no, we're just going to continue to lane, and it's often a case where if you're just winning laning phase, you're comfortable with it, you don't mind continuing to match the opponent that you're able to consistently pressure, because you're getting plates, because you're able to move into the jungle and get some gold here. So I'm looking at top side now, since both junglers are up there on the mini-map. They could path to top and try to fight for that minion wave as Alfari continues to hold it right in front of Niles' face.
Yeah, Niles looks like he stayed, actually, just trying to get that wave pushed in, which is kind of tricky, as you can see, but I think it will focus towards him, if my brain saw this correctly. Santorin, they're here to the top side, looking for the E. Just going to lay in wait. Iconic is nearby, though, so Niles has to be very careful here. This is a spot where he gets killed so often, it feels like.
He should back up. The wave is going to crash onto him. You can see that he has more minion waves. The trade was already fine. I think he's totally okay. And that's why Santorin realizes, okay, I'm wasting my time up here. I can just do the Herald instead, because since the wave will push, Renekton can always come to help me out. The Victor and Lucian are too busy in the mid lane, and he's stronger than the Kayn. So this is just a nice and free early Rift Herald, and it just looks like it's a Santorin game all game long.
Yeah, I mean, that early invade you spotted on the minimap is kind of translated to just all this jungle pressure. You know, he's up, you know, some amount of CS here, but a 10 actually, as the Rift Herald does get taken by Santorin. Going to be more after that crab gets taken out as well. But of course, jungle CS doesn't directly translate nearly as well as lane CS does. But Santorin has had so much pressure, so much control over this early game, where Golden Guardians maybe feel like they can't utilize the aggression they did draft into this landing phase to its fullest effect. Even though Niles is competing very well 1v1, and Iconic went up to the top side to try and get that gank opportunity. It didn't really amount to much. The Blaze Olive probably going to have to flash here, because Core JJ's landing away, dodges it though, and now juking down towards his teammate, I guess, but it's a 1v4. for Blaze Olive right now, running as fast as you can towards the nearest exit, which is apparently between the two enemy towers here in mid, but he's gonna be fine, as it turns out.
Oh, yeah. So Iconic was on that side of the map, so they wanted to actually catch Iconic first. You saw the crazy pings there saying, don't let this Kane in here, but he's now inside Zaya.
Yeah, Tactical going to force to use the heal there. Core JJ's here as well. Newbie actually a bit late to the party, unfortunately, was off roaming, clearing vision by the looks of things. So Iconic, good pressure. Going to get some soul there as well as Newbie re-face checks the brush, gets ulted and ignited. Now going to have to W out to safety, but Core JJ still chasing. Tactical ready there as well. Stixay moving back in, but the damage almost done. Tactical does have the flash. Stixay does commit the buster shot to be safe there as Niles on the top side. Finally too far forward. Going to have to Cledol out of there. Puts the thumbs up and rolls away as both solo laners from Golden Guardians have picked very strange paths away from the enemy. Blast going out to safety. Jensen though still chasing, but you have to dismount Kled to even try and kill him, so Niles going to be just fine.
They had such little vision all game, they just had to see the Team Liquid side of the map. Like, are we sure there's camps here? Because that's what Iconic was looking for. It all started from him responding to the Rift Herald, trying to invade and get something on the map. Everybody's collapsing. The laners are trying to help the junglers out. And in the end, the one move I just didn't like was Newbie trying to face check there for Iconic. He was already out. The Kane is just so slippery. And now they're just going to bleed a little bit more from the bottom and a little bit unnecessary. As a Rel, it always feels terrible when you're burning your flash to just get out, because now you don't have that for a dragon fight. 30 seconds from now, you're not going to be able to set yourself from that. I don't think they'll even look to fight it. It's so early right now. They just have Coals and Noon Quivers, but meanwhile, now it's fine.
Really well timed there, just waited for the bear trap, now goes straight in. Niles looks for the joust, doesn't get it, bear trap back up, but doesn't connect. Niles just trying to fight for this CS more than anything, and his TP's almost back up as well, so I think top lane's going to be fine. Mid though, the action is on as Blaze Olive moves forward towards Jensen with the Chaos Storm. Core JJ though, just barely off to the right of your screen, is maybe looking for an engage, but Iconic is here first. As Santorin, as we know, is down to that bottom side alongside Tactical, so Jensen just going to back away. Dragon up though, so maybe Golden Guardians feel like there's an objective to be taken. Top lane though still fighting, Niles back in, Dominus popped, dismount here for Claire, but Niles looking good so far, but Alfari just does so much damage. The mini Claire is damage to remount, needs to happen and it doesn't go through. It's Alfari with the flash auto to grab first blood.
So close there, Niles almost had it, but the Renekton just a little bit too strong right now. And now Team Liquid can do even more. The Renekton can teleport if he wants to join this play. There's a TP there from a Blaze Olive, but that will be enough to deter Team Liquid from going for more.
Yeah, just kills the Rift Herald. Plates still go over though, so TL going to be happy with how that went. They can get the Dragon off this as well, surely. Because Niles actually can join now, but I just don't think Golden Guardians are in shape to really fight us. Okay, how close was this, Crumbs? Because that remount was very nearly there for Niles.
All right, let's see, because we get to look at the... Both of these champions are just all about the secondary bar up there. Get one more auto, I think he would have had it. So Alfari really recognized that he needed to go for that immediately. I can't blame Niles going for that one, honestly. If you go for the power rankings today and you see that the last place guy is doing a fight, is having a 1v1 this close to the #1 top laner, I'm very glad to see it.
Yeah, for sure. I think absolutely the right play there for Niles. Just unfortunately needed like one more point of courage to remount there, and then it would have been an easy 1v1 from there. Instead, it is Alfari that navigates very well in a pretty tricky matchup to grab first blood solo, but I don't think they're done fighting just yet. However, Alfari will take the lead he's been given. As bottom lane also going to do the same here. Niles still fighting Alfari. This time, though, it's not so fair as Iconic's here alongside a Blaze Olive, and Niles already going in. The tower dive is through. The dismount has already happened, but Golden Guardians way too late on that one.
There is no wave. There's nothing they can do onto this one. And Alfari's already 2 levels up. This dive was just not going to happen. Once again, Team Liquid gets the map advantage in the bottom side because they were invading the blue side. They've been tracking that blue buff all game long, ever since Santorin invaded it. They weren't able to get the second one, but the third, they knew the timer. They saw that Golden Guardians was going to the top side. Just say, all right, we'll take the free dragon. Thank you very much. And the Team Liquid slow, methodical approach of this game is paying off very well. Only a single kill, but you can really feel that they're in control.
Yeah, I mean, bottom lane is just starting to cascade. I think the rest of the advantage the Team Liquid have built up. They're 3,000 gold ahead. They've already got 2 dragons, and Golden Guardians are looking for counterplay on the top side of the map, but unfortunately it just hasn't come together for Iconic and Niles, and even with the Blaze Olive going up there as well, haven't been able to convert the pressure Kled naturally has in that 1v1 into anything on Alfari other than a flash being blown. So we'll swap up here to the top side of the map. Nubian Stixay gonna find one here, perhaps on a tactical, but he's gonna pop the ulti here and flash away. Now Core JJ look for the re-engage. Stixay, the one locked up, is gonna have to get himself out of there. Does have his flash, but now gonna be followed to Santorin. Gonna put the Eep down, and that will be the kill. As Renekton finds Rel on the other side, and now Niles in danger of getting dove this time by the rest of Team Liquid as Alfari is going to start things off. To the T2 he goes. Iconic's here to maybe save his top laner. Cled's going to get dismounted, and everyone's going to be okay. As Iconic is put to sleep, but Team Liquid still got what they came for here. A team fight win and the tower in top lane.
There is just not enough damage. It was nice to wait in the brush for tactical, but you got to look at the itemization as well. Team Liquid is so far ahead. 4 members already with a completed item, even the Gale Force, right? So you can dash out. You've got the Xayah ultimate to disengage to buy some time, and they didn't have any vision, so they had no idea how much time they had to go after tactical. So they just figure, just do it now. It's the best chance we've got, but unfortunately, you just don't do enough damage without Victor or Kane being there to instantly combo into tactical. The rest of the team can easily collapse, and then it's just so easy. Alfari with the teleport joins up, and almost a 3-for-0.
Yeah, no ult for Niles there as well, so can't even join faster on that play if they're trying to collapse there under tactical. So just commits all his spells and gets out safely. And this is kind of the story of Team Liquid, you know, when they're on. You know, it's, I think the thing that's been surprising and why Team Liquid have picked up so many losses is that they just kind of win by laning better than you. And they're definitely good at team fighting, and they're very good at macro. But often the game feels like it's lost because you look up at 15 or 20 minutes and there's a 2,000 gold lead from Team Liquid and no one has died. And you just realize that they've just farmed and played the map more efficiently than you, that there's no real way for you to get back in the mid game because they're just already so naturally far ahead. This game's like been even further than that, right? Santorin had perfect map control. They're up almost 5,000 gold, you know, moving forward and looking to take down mid tower here as well. Team Liquid do this to everyone. So I don't think Golden Guardians should be upset with how the game is going. I think we should just be impressed with how efficient Team Liquid are when they're playing their game. As they're going to take the mid with Shelly, not even having to charge in. They'll get a pop onto the tier 2 in mid as well.
She was a little confused there, not knowing what to do. She wiggled her tail, knew what to do. No turret, but now just gets another charge. Won't do anything for this one, but just getting that mid-tier now makes it that much harder because you're going to continue to contest the blue buff vision. How does Golden Guardians deal with this? The best thing they've got is the Umbral Glade, but Kled's going in. There's no one else even close, though. You got 5 members here, and Alfari continues to push the top wave. That was Niles' teleport to make it into that side of the map in order to catch Team Liquid. It is really rough here, Pastry, because they are just bleeding constantly to try to catch Team Liquid, but they don't have to do anything. They're already getting an advantage. You disengage, and you walk away with a dub.
Yeah, now Niles is, you know, very far behind. He's 2 levels down. He's, what, 40, 50 CS down to Alfari, who's just home and pushing in the top side of the map. Team Liquid are now splitting in mid. They're going to look to try and finish this off here. Again, Niles going to go in. Core JJ is going to be the one to face tank the Kled ult. And now dismounted is Kled, and ultis from Lucian's almost going to pick him off. Nubi going to take the last few shots. Jensen getting in there. Doesn't quite finish off the kill, but Golden Guardians, no health as they look to defend this tier 2 in mid.
Oh, the second engage. It's not going to work. Going in a straight line there, it's going to be so easy for Team Liquid to actually deal with that. The Xayah is going to be able to just ult and get everybody rooted if you just run straight at him. You're also dealing with a very strong Lucian too, so I like that they're actively looking for something, which counts for proactivity. It's usually what you want to see out of teams that are in development. Just don't roll over and die, but you got to have a little bit more creativity now. We're already at the stage where you're being proactive. Let's get a little bit creative with how we're actually pulling these off.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of feeling like a game where, you know, just try something, you know, like 6,000 gold down. Another Dragon's coming up in 10 seconds that Team Liquid are probably going to collect without a contest. I mean, they've already got the crab as Alfari's doing a bit of jungling there, but Santorin's going to take his blue buff, so feels like that's a pretty decent trade. And just going to start this Dragon right now. No need to wait. There is not that many Team Liquid members around here, but there's no vision for Golden Guardians, not even making their way towards this side of the map. In fact, Iconic is once again in the top lane, which has been a pretty reliable timer on the Team Liquid side, but looking to, again, look for counterplay on the opposite side of the map. Don't want to fight them there as Tactical in the mid lane. getting on the Stixxay, pops the Gale Force in the 1v1 and almost gets a kill. But Stixxay going to have to use the heal and the jump to get away safely.
Yeah, that's a really aggressive Xayah. We're going to see a rise in this champion. I think their late game of this pick is really good, and also being able to actually participate in crowd controlling any divers on your team is going to be really relevant, because we're going to see the rise on these champions, what Cloud9 was playing, the Aurelia, the Camille, these bruisers that just want to run at your face. I think Alfari suspected that something was amiss. He doesn't know where anybody is, so he doesn't want to die to this. The Kled could have come out of nowhere, so he just flashes to be safe. Doesn't want to give anything away to slow this team down.
I mean, probably doesn't like know this, right? But a lot of respect given to the ultless Kled that was near the enemy blue buff from Alfari's perspective. But again, just doesn't want to take any risks, preserves the KDA, and gets away from the potential assault that Blaze Olive was mounting. Newbie maybe going to go to sleep here. Nope. Looks like Santoron's going to let him get away with this one. But again, they're already 3 Dragons up, 21 minutes through, 4 minutes, so 25 minutes till the Cloud Soul is finished. CoreJJ already zoning them off this red side vision, so they've got Baron completely under control. Golden Guardian's going to have to find a way back in around one of these objectives, you think, but Team Liquid just do such a good job of not letting you back into a game once they found a lead.
They have to stay in the mid lane. This is the only way they can actually pressure Team Liquid to come out of the fog of war. They're most likely not going to be doing this Baron if Tactical and Jensen are on the map. You need these ADs to actually start hitting it, but every time they push a wave, go into the fog of war, that's when Golden Guardians gets nervous. It's lucky that Iconic with the Cane can explore, can look over walls, has the Umbral Glade to clear things out, and that you have that Scryer's Orb, but it really forces the rest of the team to commit to this side of the map and not to be power farming. And so it's going to slowly accumulate a gold lead for Team Liquid, which is how they've been playing this game. Slowly but certainly, this lead is now 6,000 gold, and it just feels like they're just suffocating Golden Guardians.
Yeah, it feels like 6,000 gold and only 3 kills is kind of like the Team Liquid way. Again, just a team that is so good at converting their leads into bigger and bigger things by playing the map more efficiently than you after they've already laned better than you. Team Liquid just looking to continue the dominance we expected from them. And again, Crumbs, I know you mentioned this to me off air, but Golden Guardians kind of need to win this game as Niles is in trouble. Gonna flash out of there, but go to sleep. Ooh, pops the ulti instead, but Tactical's gonna block it! What a beast as Niles will fall to Xayah. And now the rest of Golden Guardians getting flanked by Alfari. Stun lands onto a Blazov. Newbie in the middle of everyone trying to make something happen. Stixxay gonna bounce them back as Newbie does fall. Iconic also charmed up and killed by Jensen, who sweeps in for the double kill. And now asleep goes Stixxay. He's gonna get shredded to pieces. And it's just a Blaze Olive left in a 1v5. And Team Liquid are ignoring him because the Baron is apparently more important than this mid laner.
It really is. It was just a matter of time for Team Liquid to find the pick that they wanted. Golden Guardians gets frustrated. They see a member there. Let's go for it. This is the best chance we got. Kind of was, but it's already too late. Team Liquid just calm, methodical. They don't panic. They just immediately say, all right, get the Kled. We've got the Renekton collapsing, and that's because for the last 5 minutes, all they have been doing is living inside the Golden Guardians jungle. They're not taking any other camps. They're only taking Golden Guardians' camp, so it forces them to constantly have to think about where Team Liquid is. And so Niles gets caught. He's trying to run out, but then he's like, well, maybe we could actually turn on to Tactical. Dies right away, and then the fight is all too easy because there's a Renekton flanking you. A Crocodile from the back is very scary.
Yeah, again, Team Liquid is collapsing so nicely here for the Honda Performance play. And Iconic, you know, trying to do what he can, but everyone's getting charmed or falling asleep here. And Blaze Olive is lucky to get away alive. I like that it gets ignored. That was my favorite part. They're like, yeah, we don't need that kill. We don't need an ace. Just take the Baron, go from there, and Crumbs. I don't know how good your memory is, because I can't remember this. But when was the last time we had a perfect game in the LCS? Because that is what is currently on the table.
True. I'm going to say last split. I don't think it was this split. Maybe... Actually, it was CLG. I'm going to say CLG last split, their first game of last split.
Well, JJ, oh, he's going to ruin it already. I may have cast a curse them. Iconic looking for it, but Team Liquid going to preserve the bagel in Golden Guardian's kill column as they're just trying to fend off the Baron up seed. Red Bull Baron buff still up for a minute 40. So plenty of waves for Team Liquid to play with. Golden Guardians just have to fend off the assault for as long as they can as the tier 2 in top does indeed drop.
All right, just 1 for it here. He's out. He's fine. And
Go to sleep.
Stixay will have to just base, and that's just going to allow them to hit these turrets. Renekton's already going to be in the mid lane, and you only have one person that's really good at wave clear here. It's a Blaze Olive, and he can't be at 2 turrets at once, so this is most likely going to be the mid lane turret going down on this push.
Yeah, it is indeed going to fall. Niles there on the front side once again trying to make something happen, but Alfari's just going to jump in there, gets a big spin there for the health back. Using Call Meek there and actually axing Stixay's health by quite a lot. So now that Tristana can't commit because no health, and I was going to fall asleep if he stayed too much longer. So Stixay going to have to back away, and Team Liquid just get what they came for. Bop out, take that mid inhibitor, and Golden Guardians again looking for the flank with Niles. Pull off Ari in, but the rest of the team's not there. Strivebreaker's out for the Kled. As Team Liquid maybe just going to look to hunt down this kill. Niles though back towards his tower is going to be okay. But Team Liquid is going to take the exit through the enemy blue buff straight towards the Dragon Soul. Do not, Pasco, do not collect $200. It's just Golden Guardians trying to fend off a very cranky-looking Team Liquid as Niles is going to get out of there. Jensen's going to pop the ulti. Oh my goodness, why does that do so much damage?
He
Ulti
is
up for
very
Kled.
fed. He is very fed. Team Liquid's just using... Their whole map is just jungle camps that they just take constantly, including Golden Guardians. They just, all right, take them, they're spawned again, just keep killing them, keep taking these objectives. There's almost too many objectives for them to take. They don't even want to base. They want to stay on the map and just win this one right now. But if they just base, they could actually end this in a very clean fashion. This is a phenomenal game for them. And another news for Team Liquid that might have had something to do with this is that Cold, one of their assistant coaches, is actually with them in person now, so they were still missing power on this roster, and now they've actually improved even more.
Certainly would be a good turnaround game here for Team Liquid, who again, a surprisingly up and down season, but it is, of course, you know, what happens once you make playoffs that matters, Crumbs. If the Golden Guardians are going to have to win this game to have a chance, again, probably not going to happen. For Team Liquid, certainly still in the conversation. If they win here, somehow, with only 6 teams making playoffs for the mid-season showdown, they'll be tied for second with 4 other teams, Crumbs. I don't know about your math, but that's in playoffs if you're Team Liquid.
And all split long, we were saying, oh, Team Liquid, they won the lock-in, but they're struggling. They're struggling. The games don't look that clean. We were distracted by all the other teams, but with a win this clean, they're actually the cleanest team with 8 wins. That would definitely put them as the cleanest. EG's getting their game together, but here comes a fight.
Real sleepy newbie. Santorin pops the ulti, but no commitment there. Does manage to get away. Can't help but shake the feeling, Crumbs, that when you say it's going to be a perfect game, it almost never is. And I think the reason it's not going to be is because somebody's going to die with the fountain at the end of the game. I don't know if Golden Guardians are going to find it engaged, given the deficit they're currently looking at. That means they get a Team Liquid kill unassisted by the fountain laser. But we'll have to see, because it's just looking so good on the TL side here. Have to celebrate how well they've snowballed this lead. They've got this soul so early. They're just looking to end this game maybe under 30 minutes if they can find the fight they want. Golden Guardians, so again, have to make their stand at some point, but aren't going to be able to save this bottom inhibitor. So perhaps just wait until the Nexus is a little bit closer here, because going to have to be fending off supers regardless. Newbie going to jump in. That's a good Magnet Storm. Damage is done. Jensen looking low. He's going to pop, and Tactical's going to take out Iconic, but they do indeed get the kill. It's the Ignite from Rel that finds that shutdown, but a double kill for Tactical. Going to make it a triple there as he takes out the Trist, and now it's just a Blaze Olive once again alive, and Team Liquid surprisingly leaving him alone despite the ace that's on the table. The Blaze Olive back towards the fountain he goes, and is going to live for a little while longer. Finds the shutdown onto Tactical as Team Liquid, with no carries, are going to try and finish off this Nexus.
You do not perfect game the Golden Guardians. If anything, that is
go to
one
sleep.
thing they can say.
All right, there's the Bud Light ace the Team Liquid have been looking for, and that is going to be the end of the game. 8 seconds for Iconic to come back, and slowly but surely the Nexus towers are going to die. Surely, no, they can't do it. Losing your 2 marksmen, apparently, not good for your chances of killing buildings, as Tactical's laughing in his player cab.
Oh, man. All right, we still got to wait for another reset before this game, and hopefully it doesn't actually come down to having to wait much longer. The Baron is up. They'll just take it and end this one. We're so close to seeing it, so close to the perfect game, but Newbie finds the engage, catches out Jensen, and even Tactical going down at the end. I mean, that's something. You did not get perfect game. It really counts for something that you found the play. You can laugh about it. Team Liquid certainly is laughing about it. I think they had it in the back of their heads that they'd be able to pull it off, but at the end of the day, at least Golden Guardians is able to practice these late game engages, because it worked. They held on.
Right, I mean, like, still there, right? Not looking good, but gonna keep trying to make the play. Tactical, gonna get grabbed. Yeah, still alive, which better than your Nexus been blown on, that's for sure here. Is TL. We're going to counter-engage here, but Iconic perhaps off to the side. Niles already with the ulti, but not a lot of help left. Alfari onto Newbie. They go. Core JJ with a follow-up, and see you later. Around the shield, though, keeping him alive for a little while longer as Niles has found Jensen, but now he's dismounted and slain by Tactical as Iconic in onto Santorum, but plays off, stunned up by Alfari. Not going to be the last one left alive, or is he, as Kane goes down, but Stixay going to save his mid laner with the Buster Shot. And now Stixay's gone back in with the Gale Force. Absolute heroics from the Tristana, but will not be anything but another Team Liquid victory as they teleport in to take down the next Alfari's going to get the job done as Team Liquid going to knock Golden Guardians out of playoffs and tie themselves in the standings with 4 other teams for a second. Blaze Olive once again offered up for the ace, but Team Liquid going to take the Nexus instead.
Such
Take
a
the
cool
KDA,
game.
it's not worth it, it's not worth it, Core! Oh, Newbie back in, but the Nexus falls down as Team Liquid are gonna take the win.
Oh man, Santorin was so good for me this game. Just a great game out of him, knowing how to play the Lillian to Kane matchup from the first minute. Never let go, pressuring the Kane, and the lanes benefited from it. I think everybody can look into this one and see exactly how you should be playing jungle matchups when you actually have pushing lanes, because this was just relentless from them. It really shows you that against these top teams, you can't get away with these picks that don't necessarily get to fight the early game, because it will be punished.
Yeah, I think Core JJ and Tactical also looking a little bit more like their old selves, let's say. Just using all that pressure to constantly push in the lanes, and then it felt like, okay, now we can just play perma topside, or even if they go top and want to abandon it, they know they've got strength in bot. Again, like Team Liquid are just so good at understanding what the map state is at any given point, and just understanding how to not even just trade effectively, but like get advantages while possibly trading. And this game, they didn't even need to trade, right? They're just so far ahead that they can kind of win everywhere. So a really impressive game. I think the kind of game we expect from Team Liquid, especially up against the likes of Golden Guardians. You did have some fight in this game, so certainly some things to take away, but a team that is still showing improvement. After the break, though, the Tigress is going to be talking with Alfari in the Verizon post-game interview, so don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to the LCS. We've got Alfari joining us for our Verizon post-game interview. I don't think anyone can argue that that was an extremely strong performance from Team Liquid. This does tie you for second place in the standings. How much weight do you personally put on regular season record when we're going so close into the playoffs soon enough?
I mean, personally, I don't really care what our record is, assuming we actually are in playoffs. Then I think that, you know, being first to sixth doesn't really matter. You know, anything can change between like the first 2 weeks of the end of spring and playoffs, and best of ones, best of fives are completely different beasts as well. So I don't think, you know, being second, being sixth, anything like this really matters. Just as long as you have a playoff spot, you know, anyone can win is how I see it, at least.
Always good to get that playoff spot and getting in the top of the standings, extra sprinkles on the cake here. And as you are racking up these wins as Team Liquid, you are now currently 3-0 within your recent game record. But it was after the TSM loss in a TGI interview that Santorin seemed frustrated, you know, talking about the mistakes piling up on that side, saying, "I'm pretty upset, honestly." Since then, what has changed for Team Liquid to be back in form?
I mean, I don't know if we're back in form. I think when we lost our games, I mean, I don't know. I think we are playing at we are making small improvements, but the reasons we lost were mostly for stupid reasons, and I guess some small macro things, which, like I said, I think we've been improving on. I wouldn't necessarily say we're back in form. To be honest, I think that every team right now looks not too hot. So, yeah, I think we have a lot to improve on still, even though we are second now, I guess. But yeah, I'm pretty confident that we will improve enough in time for playoffs so that we will, you know, have a very good shot at winning.
I believe he also used stupid mistakes in that description. So it sounds like you're all on the same page of where you are looking to make corrections. I do want to get your thoughts as what many perceive to be the top laner in the league. Now we saw Kled for the second time in recent weeks. Finn has busted him out. Niles here today. What do you make of that pick, but specifically also the Renekton matchup into it that you just experienced?
So Kled as a champion is always something that I find pretty fun to play against, because for this champ to be able to lane, it needs to play like a total animal first few levels and just you know, all in 24/7 before first base. And, you know, if you miss a few of your Qs, level 1, level 2, or if you're nervous or shaking your hands or choking, then your champ is totally useless. So it always makes top lane really, I guess, action-packed, as opposed to, you know, Sion Gragas matchup or something boring like this. With Kled, there's always going to be action in the game early in the lane phase, so it's really fun to play against it. I don't think it's too great of a champion, because, like I said, it's like a pure coin flip champ. But, I mean, I don't know exactly if it's supposed to win these coin flips. And if it doesn't, then you kind of see what happens, right? It doesn't scale too well into the lane. First, most matchups, it kind of loses the later the lane goes on. So you really want to abuse the first 3 levels, which, I mean, he tried. You know, Finn is a really good Kled player, so I think he can do it pretty well. But yeah, if you don't do that, then the champ just seems kind of weak.
We did see how scrappy things can be right off the bat when that pick is brought into the fray. And I mean, on the side of Team Liquid, there's still so much power here, so much strength going forward. You are going to be facing off against Cloud9 next. You did defeat them last time around. What are your thoughts this time in the second round robin?
I mean, we're going to beat them again. That's pretty much my whole thoughts. I don't have too much else to say. I think they're a decent team. I think they're good players. But I'm very confident. I'm looking forward to beating them again.
That confidence is all you need, and we love to see it. Alfari, thank you so much for speaking with me.
Thanks.
Good performance from Team Liquid here today to push them up continuously in the standings. Let's send things over to the State Farm analyst desk.
Thank you very much, the Tigers. A few things, actually, within that interview that I'd like to touch on. First and foremost, actually, the conversation around the postseason and where TL is currently positioned. Alfari is stating that it doesn't much matter to him whether or not he's first or sixth, as long as they make it into the postseason picture. Well, I got good news for you, Alfari. You could be anywhere from first to sixth, given the fact that you're now in a 5-way tie for second place with that victory. So things are as undecided as ever when it comes to the postseason. But as well, just kind of keying off of that as well, was mentioned the second time we've seen Kled so far this split, both times into a Renekton matchup. We were having plenty of fun discussing the matchup behind the scenes. Alorum, you were saying it can be a volatile one, but it very much seems winnable by either side, depending on how those early levels go.
Right. So I said that I wanted to see Niles on a spicy pick, and he delivered. While it didn't go so well, it was pretty close. Like, Niles and Alfari were very close in HP, and near the end, before the solo kill, Niles, he was off his bicycle, right, and he was about to get back on. The Fury Rage was maybe like 1 auto away. If that had gotten back on the bike, he would have easily killed the Renekton, but there were a couple misplays in lane. Like, he had a couple bad ults that didn't, where he probably could have just easily gotten a kill just by walking at him. And I think mainly this was just a difference in top laner. Obviously, we know Niles has a lot to work on, and Alfari is very good. But I do like the gumption from Niles to at least go for this kind of counter pick, because it's confidence in a player who, quite frankly, has not had enough time in the league to match up to some of these extremely good top laners. So I'm excited for Niles' future and see if he can actually improve to that level later.
Yeah, volatile matchup that just didn't go his way today. If we turn our attention elsewhere on the map, though, Emily, I think eyes go straight to Santorin in the jungle. This man is a jungle pathing mastermind.
Yeah, so I know Crumbs touched upon this on the desk, but basically he gets leashed red, he goes birds, he invades, he gets wolves blue, goes back into his own jungle, gets his own wolves, gets his own blue, gets his own Gromp, which actually puts him in position to contest Iconic at his own Raptors. Sorry, I called them birds initially. I'm used to it.
I like birds.
Doing
Birds
jungle
is
path
great.
spreadsheets because they kept changing the name on me. But anyway, I want to point this out because it's just really great from Santorin because it sets the Kayn so far behind. And speaking of volatile picks from Golden Guardians, we were talking about how their drafts are like super easy to execute. You just press your buttons and you run at people. And this was a draft where they took a lot of risks, I think, and did get punished for them, but I like that, right? Like their playoff hopes are on the line. They know that it's going to be an incredible uphill climb, and they just lock in this draft. And Santorin's like, well, I'm gonna outpath you for this entire first rotation. He ends up getting topside scuttle and backing, and they just have like complete map control after that.
Yep, that's complete control right there. Up and to the right, maybe a little dip, but otherwise this seems pretty much like a, was it y equals mx plus b kind of graph? Just straight into the right.
Are we finding the slope right now?
Don't take me back
let's
to
go, baby.
high school
No, we're not doing
math.
derivatives. No slope. Just real simple. Here's the line. I think it's kind of what was expected with Team Liquid versus Golden Guardians. But it does, I think the most important thing from this game is the fact that it eliminates Golden Guardians from playoff contention in Spring Split. And with the fact that now your Spring Split, standing matters and it carries over into summer, it doesn't mean that you get to like ease up at all, because if you have any hopes of making it when it's 8 teams that make playoffs, it's only 6 in spring, 8 in summer. Like, you still need to fight right now for Golden Guardians to find more wins and continue to improve.
Yeah, I think that's a really intriguing point, because it's at this point in the split a lot of times where we still talk about, hey, these teams have an opportunity to play spoiler to the playoff picture, but that given they are out of the playoff picture, sometimes that might give them the leeway to experiment more. But obviously, as you just pointed out, Mark, you want to get the win. So I wonder how the teams at the bottom of the standings, as they get eliminated from spring playoff contention, will ultimately approach the rest of their regular season games. Is it going to be sticking to the book and trying to really, scratch out these wins? Or is it going to be like, hey, we're still obviously looking for victory, but we want to do more in service of developing a playbook for what will be a summer split where maybe we can be more, of a contender for the playoffs?
I know how it feels to be on a bottom team, so I can tell you.
Tell me.
We play for, when you get to that point, obviously, like, you want to win, but more importantly, you play just to mess up someone's standings. Whoever is above you, you're like, all right, we got to knock this guy down at least one. because your games, while to you don't have many implications, they have a lot of implications for other teams. So you still obviously try your hardest. You can experiment a little bit, but everyone is still trying their best, trying to at least knock some other teams off their feet and get them down in the standings.
And I would just throw in, like James was saying, you know, the fact that your games still matter now for summer. It's not even like you have to adopt that mindset. I would actually say that, you know, if I was coaching Golden Guardians, I would not approach it any differently than before the loss and after. Like, if this is what I thought was the optimal methodology for improving and, like, you know, approaching the games these ways, like, keep doing it, because all these things are going to matter come summer. That's still your end goal, is to be in playoffs, hopefully by summer. And so if you were confident in what you were doing right now, you know, you weren't trying to pick up wins this week, you know, you're focused on improvement, keep focusing on that. That's still the way to go.
Yeah, now in the meantime, Team Liquid continued to be on that upward trajectory from what was a bit of a slump. Just a small commentary on that. I know Core JJ had tweeted out after the record was 5-5 that he expected the team to go 13-5. Well, they're well on their way there. They just need to put 5 more up onto the board. We are going to head into a short break, though. On the other side, CLG are fighting to keep their playoff hopes alive in a must-win match against Immortals. We'll see you here.